If you're looking for a podcast that packs in sound property advice, as well as offering you an insight into making the world of property effective and ultimately work for you, you're in the right place. Hosted by Arsh Ellahi, the original property rebel. He's written an Amazon bestseller, created the Property Investor app, the UK's first, and is an experienced property mentor. More importantly, he talks the talk and walks the walk.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Property Rebel with your host Arsh Ellahi. And in today's session, we're going to be talking about creative financing. And I'm hoping that you really enjoyed this episode because this is something that I'm really passionate about. Now, before we do that, just want to remind you that this podcast is sponsored by the Property Investor app, which is the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. Whether it's a below market value deal, a rent-to-rent deal, a lease option deal, we've got them all there. Now, there are three ways to get involved. You can either go to the website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. You can either go to the App Store on your smartphone and download the Property Investor app by searching for Property Investor. And finally, I know that you've got WhatsApp. Don't lie to me. Go and check out WhatsApp, look for communities and search for the Property Investor app WhatsApp channel. And feel free to join, completely free. And you're going to see all the deals that we post in the Property Investor app WhatsApp channel. Now, let's get straight to it. Creative financing. What is creative financing? First of all, there's a bit of a clue in the title. It's when you become creative with your financing. So ultimately, some of you may have funds that you want to invest in a property and you want to deploy in a property. Some people may not. And it's okay. Honestly, there's no shame in it. Lots of people want to get involved in property for lots of different reasons. They want to build a generational wealth. They want to escape the rat race of their job. They want that financial freedom. They want that time freedom. They want that space freedom. And I don't blame you, because guess what? When you're involved in property and once you're fully systemized, it will allow you to do whatever you want it to do. But that will all come down to how you build the business. Let me just give you a quick example of that. So I can travel, believe it or not, and this is not boasting, but I can travel pretty much anywhere around the world, and I will know that my business will continue to run. I've got systems, I've got procedures already in place, which allow me that time and that space and that freedom to go and do as I want, when I want, with who I want. And that is what my definition of freedom is. I've gone slightly off track of topic there, but like I said, when it comes to creative financing, why is this so important? Because like I said at the start, some of you will have funds to invest and some of you may not. Now, just because you may have funds may not mean that you may not want to use your own funds. You may want to use, have you ever heard of an acronym OPM, other people's money? I've also adapted it slightly further, OPP, other people's property. So with a combination of OPM, with a combination of OPP, there are lots of ways that you can get involved in property by utilizing other people's property and also using other people's money. Now, let's start with the OPM. What it actually is, OPM. I like to think that it's quite self-explanatory. It's where you use other people's money. So when we're talking about other people's money, we could be talking about institutional lending. So we could be getting money from the banks or mortgage lending, or we could be using other investors' money. And this is where it could either become a joint venture, or where they just technically speaking be acting as a lender to you. Now, why would you use other people's money as opposed to go to a lender like a mortgage lender like Lloyds, Halifax, etc.? First of all, ease of entry. Now, as you may be aware, whether you've tried to get a credit card, whether you've tried to get a mortgage or some form of lending, getting a bank to say yes, you probably have to answer 101 questions. But guess what? You need to have 102 answers. So they will ask you 101 questions. You need to make sure that you're prepared to give them 102 answers. And during that process, they will make you jump through 1,000,001 hoops. And believe it or not, that is quite normal. And as the money market tightens up, that will only get tougher. And it is quite a strenuous process, and it's quite a timely process. So if you're looking to try and get a deal agreed within, let's say, 4 weeks, sometimes you may not be able to get funding in place in time for that. So by having a bank or even just a handful of investors that you may know that have funds available, you may be able to create a win-win scenario. They may be able to lend money to you. You need to identify how that money is going to be secured. So not only to protect your investor. So if they're lending you £100,000, what security are you offering them? Are you offering them first charge? Are you offering them a personal guarantee? Are you offering them a second charge? And obviously, I'd like to think that you're going to be offering sufficient security so that they are protected. So as we would like to think, everything is going to go according to plan. There are times where things don't go according to plan, and you want to be in a position where you're going to be able to pay the investor back. I've seen time and time again on social media where investors who have lent money in good faith have lost their money, and the only person that's benefited was the investor that borrowed it. Now, that's not a great way to operate, and it's very hard to say, but if you're going to operate like that, we can't be friends. Other people's money is very much a case of they're going to lend you some money, you're going to utilize that money, and then how you pay them back or what you offer in the deal will be all subject to how you negotiate the deal. So are you going to give them a fixed rate return? You're going to give them 1% a month? You're going to give them 10% per annum? Or are you going to give them a percentage, or a percentage of the equity, or a percentage of the deal? So let's just give you a quick example of both. So if you're going to give them a fixed return, it could be that they're going to lend you £100,000 and then you're going to pay them back either 1% a month. So let's just imagine the 100,000, 1% of that is £1,000 a month. So at the end of the year, they will get back the 100,000 that they lent you, plus the 12%, so which will be equivalent to £12,000. They've earned £12,000 for lending you the £100,000. Now that's quite straightforward, because ultimately that is exactly what a bank does. The only difference is that you're not filling in a million different application forms and questions to get that. That will all be done on a trust basis and a relationship basis, because again, the person lending you the money will want to identify who you are, what you do, how you've been doing it, what's your track record, what's your experience. Have you had a track record of paying people back on time? Have you had a track record of paying people their interest? And has it been a win-win scenario all round? Now, second part could be equity stake in the deal. So let me give you an example. Let's just imagine that you're going to buy a house for £100,000. You're then going to go and refurb it. You're going to spend another £30,000 on the property. Now, as a result of spending £30,000 to uplift the value of the property, that property now may be worth £200,000, which means that there's a capital gain of £70,000. When you do an equity stake kind of deal, you pay the investor back the first £100,000 that they lent you. You then pay back the £30,000 of the refurb, whatever that's come from, whether it's come from your pocket or the investor's pocket. So you pay back all the costs initially, and then the profit in the deal, you can then split that according to how you structure the deal. If it's a 50-50, let's just imagine there's 70,000 uplift, the investor will get 35,000 and you will get 35,000. Now that's a very simple structure of an equity stake deal. It could be 60-40, it could be 70-30. Again, how you structure it will be down to you and how you do the deal. And it really is as simple as that. Now, I should say that this is not financial advice. I always say that if you're going to do stuff like this, you've got to research the person that you're going to work with, because again, this is a relationship. And don't just treat this as a short sprint, treat this as a marathon, because if this goes well, guess what? They're going to have funds to reinvest again and again and again and again and again. So that £100,000 will allow you to do multiple deals if the investor, the person that's lent you the money, is seeing a return on their money. So give me an example on the equity stake deal. If they put 130,000 in and then they're getting 35,000 back for the money that they lent you, that's almost like a 25% return. Okay, the maths may not there or there be about, but you get the gist. So they've lent you 130,000, they're getting 50% of the uplift, which in this scenario is 50% of 70,000. They're getting 35,000. They put in 130,000. They're getting 35,000 plus 130,000 back. They've now got 165,000. They may turn around and say, well, I'll tell you what. I've now got a pot of 165,000. Let's go and do it again. And then that 165,000 then starts to grow to 200,000. Oh, okay, go again. And the pot keeps growing. It allows you to do more and more deals. Now, how else can we do creative finance? For those that follow me on social media, broad statement, I'm the king of creative finance deals. So I've done deals where the vendor has lent me all the money to buy their property off them. I've done creative deals where we've done a exchange and a 30-month delay completion. I've done deals where we've done a planning gain and we've done a profit split. There's so many different ways to become creative. There's no right or wrong way. It all depends on, are you dealing with a vendor or are you dealing with an investor? The investor is possibly going to be lending you money. If it's a vendor, they're going to perhaps allow you to come and uplift the value of their property and then you do a profit split. There's so many different ways to become creative when it comes to creative financing. So don't just assume that to purchase property, you have to employ your personal capital into the deal. Start thinking creatively, because if you do that, there's only a certain amount of deals that you're going to be able to do. I want you to start thinking outside the box and thinking, okay, he's got that property. He may not need the money straight away. So can we stretch it where that money then comes back to him over a certain period of time or over a period, and we can add value to that property and we can give them, instead of them getting 100,000, they'll now be getting 130,000, but they won't get that money for maybe 6 or 12 months down the line. We can utilize rent to rent. We can utilize lease options. Again, these are all different examples of OPM and OPP. Rent to rent is OPP. You're using other people's property. OPM is where people are lending you money, like a joint venture, so other people's money. So guys, think outside the box. Don't just think that you have to use all your own money, because you will run out of money and it will slow your progress down. So I really hope that you've enjoyed that, guys. Really active now on TikTok, Facebook and Instagram. Feel free to go and check it out by searching for Arsh Ellahi on all these social media platforms. 45 going on 21, as you do. But let's get moving forward. And as I said at the start of this podcast is sponsored by the Property Investor app, which is UK's first property investment platform. Go and check it out. 3 ways to get involved. You've got the website, propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. You've got the actual mobile app, so you can go to your mobile app store on your mobile device, go and download Property Investor app from there. Finally, I know you've got WhatsApp. Do not lie to me. Go and check out WhatsApp, go and check out communities, and follow the Property Investor app WhatsApp channel. With that note, guys, really hope that you enjoy it. Go out, start, become creative, use other people's money and use other people's property. And I will speak to you all very soon. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of The Property Rebel. Want to keep learning? Check out the other episodes on YouTube and dive deeper into the world of property investing with Arsh Ellahi.